Welcome to Mythic Tarantino, where we analyze Quentin Tarantino's films from a mythological lens. My name is John, and this is my brother Nick.
Hello.
Nick, what movie are we reviewing today?
Today we are reviewing Kill Bill Volume 2 and
The second part.
the second part, yeah. And I'll start us off with a quote from early on in the movie by the titular Bill. I've never been nice my whole life, but I'll do my best to be sweet.
That's good. So, what do you like about your quote?
I think it actually does sort of encapsulate Bill as a character, where he is uh he sort of makes every attempt to be like polite and dapper and friendly, but like deep down, like he's just a bad guy that does bad things because he wants to do bad things.
Well, let's just get into Bill as a character then.
Okay.
This movie really is about Bill in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Whereas the
Beatrix
last
is
one,
barely a character.
yeah. Well, in the last one, there was no Bill in the movie called Kill Bill.
Oh yeah.
There was like a
There's a
mention,
voiceover.
a voiceover, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Bill. Bill is honorable. He's he's extremely honorable. Like we said in the last episode, he's honorable to a fault.
Yeah.
But he also knows that he's a bad person. He knows that about himself. Just like we're skipping all the way to the end, but just
Oh,
like
I
that, yeah.
okay, keep going. I have some comments on that.
Yeah, just like how he calls Beatrix a killer, you know?
Mhm.
And interestingly, the daughter kills a goldfish. So it's like in their blood, you
Yeah.
know? Or
So,
or it's in Bill's blood or is it in Beatrix's blood? But it's this natural born killer's idea, which he says.
yeah.
And it's like he knows he's a natural born killer, but he also has honor at the same time. So
So, okay, so like there is this like these sort of like dueling motifs of kung fu movie and Western movie.
mhm.
Like to the point where like at the very end of the movie, like when Beatrix and Bibi are watching a samurai movie upstairs, Bill is downstairs watching a Western movie.
Oh yeah,
And
interesting.
yeah, there's this constant sort of like dueling motifs of Western and samurai. And I feel like kill and like both those genres have in common is like the good and noble main character and the black hat, the strongly coded as being evil kind of bad guy.
Hmm.
And I feel like Bill loves the idea of being a villain. I think he's leaning into it. I think he as a character wants to feel like he's in a movie and has
Completely.
settled on has settled on being the bad guy in someone else's story, which is why he
Yeah.
like willingly takes the 5 steps at the very end.
He is such a dramatist as well. The way he
Oh yeah.
tells stories, he is a storyteller, fabulous sort of like he likes to embellish too, like in his stories. He likes
Hmm.
he likes to insinuate like supernatural things in his stories. And he's an analyst as well of stories, not
Yeah.
unlike us.
Mhm. Although I,
Um,
I I think his reading on Superman is flawed in my opinion, but
how
we don't need to go
so?
into that.
I no, let's go
Uh
into it.
okay, so like his whole thing of like, oh no, like Clark Kent is the alter ego and Superman is who he is truly. The problem is that like he grew up as Clark Kent. Like he's like his mother and father were, a bunch of rural Kansans and his values were built up as a kid growing up in a rural Kansas. Like he
Yeah,
didn't grow up on Krypton. Like there's other heroes that are a much better version of that story. Like
yeah. Well,
Wonder
that's the
Woman.
Moses story. He's
Yeah.
Superman is the Moses story.
Yeah.
He is not of the Egyptians.
Yeah. He has
And
one foot in each world.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like Moses.
And his true what he really is sort of this powerful savior figure, yeah, your take on Quentin Tarantino's take on or Bill's take on because I do think that Bill sees the world that way though.
Yeah,
And in the movie, that is basically what we were talking about was the Hattori Hanzo scene. Is those people were just pretending and they were kind of they were pretending to be dumb people,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
Just like how Beatrix was pretending to be a housewife, and
yes, exactly.
yeah.
And that's what Bill was saying is like, do you really believe that that was going to work?
Well, he even mentions Hattori Hanzo in that speech
Oh
where
yeah, yeah.
he's like, does he still make terrible sushi?
Yeah.
It's like where yeah, because he's not a sushi chef. He's a a sword master or whatever.
Yeah. There are all these natural born killers. I think that's what we missed in the last episode was like or the last podcast was that these people are natural born killers and that they're just pretending not to be. And there's sort of like a falseness to it. I mean, are they doing the right thing by not being killer assassins, even though killing is wrong? Killing is wrong,
Like
but it's what they were
it's it's
born to
it's
do.
it's not that they're wrong to stop killing. It's that it's bad for them individually. I think like if you look at like in Bud, the ones who like got Vernita, Bud, and I guess Beatrix, like the ones who got out of the killing game,
Hmm.
it didn't work out all that well.
It worked out a little better for Vernita than it did for Bud, but they were both sort of. I want to get into Bud too at some point, but
Oh, Bud is
obviously,
my
but
favorite character in both and out of both movies. Like he's very interesting. Uh,
but I think that both Vernita and Bud were trying to escape. They never really confronted their past. They were both just escaping, avoiding their past.
because I do have everything like arranged in chronological order here.
Okay, so yeah,
All right.
well, I mean, I guess we'll get it more into Bill.
Yeah, but yeah, he's like it yeah, there's gonna be a lot of talk about Bill.
Yeah, but so
Um
he's a storyteller, and I like your take. He is aware that he's the bad guy. He has this awareness to him.
which is like because like there really isn't this like a really strong motivation for him to be that kill crazy with her. Like they even joke about it where he's like I overreacted.
Hmm.
Like her level of betrayal doesn't match his level of sort of bloodthirst.
Yeah. I wonder how he convinced all the other people to join him in killing Beatrix too.
But I think a lot of it is like the all of the assassins are caught up in his orbit in a certain way. Like maybe he's just supposed to be like that charismatic or have
Yeah.
like
Which you
that much like
believe.
control over them. Yeah, yeah, he's David Carradine plays the hell out of the character.
So
Uh,
chronologically.
so at the very beginning when she's driving towards the camera and talking about how she's going to come kill Bill. For starters, it means that the entire movie is a flashback of her remembering all the people that she killed on her way to kill Bill. But like the interesting thing is the background behind the car was very obviously fake. Here and then also in the wedding scene, there's this really dramatic film grain overlaid on top of it makes it all just look intentionally fake. Like there's this almost willful unreality to
Yeah.
all these black and white past scenes. Kind of also filters into the fact that it was a wedding rehearsal. Yeah, it could have just been the wedding. Like there's but very specifically it has to be a dress rehearsal for the wedding. I think it also it makes the whole scene even more like not real.
Which is a bit ironic because this is the revelation of a few questions that the audience has. Like, who is the guy? What was the bride's mental state like?
Yeah. Hmm.
It does all sort of like fit into this theme of pretending. It's like when Kiddo first showed up to Bill's house at the end, like they shoot her with a fake gun, and it seems to be like Bill is teaching the child the whole time that were in that final scene or that final chapter, the difference between pretending and real. And they're both watching movies at, right before they're about to like have this duel at
Yeah.
the end.
And
And a
like,
duel,
yeah,
a duel is there's always a duel in both samurai movies and Western movies.
yeah. The showdown at high noon or the sword duel at the very end.
Yeah. And so like they're sort of grappling with it as well, I guess. Like this
Yeah, like
whole
like they're
difference
like they're
between
they're all yeah, they're all aware that they're kind of like movie characters almost.
yeah. I mean, if you want to think about it in a meta way, it's like the Shakespeare phrase, like the whole world is a stage. Like if you think about yourself as a character in a movie, maybe that you'll act more honorably than if you just have no frame of reference for what you're doing and you can't really see outside yourself. Maybe there's like psychologically, that's a good way of acting, is like if I were a character in a movie, what should I do?
Well, yeah, so sometimes in everyday life, like you can just choose to play a part.
Hmm.
If everyone's expecting you to be a certain person, then you might as well just let them think that and just be
Yeah,
that
and
person for a little bit.
people love that too. They love it when you when you do exactly what they expect you to. Moving on, what did you think of Beatrix's husband and her friends? Oh, actually, sorry, one real quick thing. It's interesting, the Samuel L. Jackson character, the player piano guy, like he
Hmm.
said he's been a part of a gang. He's been in this, he's been that, he's been this, he's been worked at this bar, he's done this. He's basically done everything. Like he's sort
Hmm.
of this weird, he's sort of like a chameleon and he's not seen either. He's like this he's been a character in every movie almost. So it
Well,
goes kind of
yeah. Well, yeah. It's like this is the black musician. Like
yeah.
you know that archetype.
Yeah,
His name is
exactly.
Rufus, and he
Rufus.
worked with an he
Another
who's that
guy
other
named
guy he
Rufus.
worked with? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it is kind of interesting that he sort of knows that he's a character as well, and that he's just playing this very insignificant part of some crappy little Texas chapel. But
Yeah,
he's been apparently very big parts of different movies.
yeah. It could just be as simple as the fact of the professional relationship between Samuel Jackson and Quentin Tarantino. Just wanted to get him in for a little bit.
Yeah. And I like the way that the pastor sort of like acknowledges him. He's just sort of like,
He's the man.
he's all right. I don't know about all that other shit, but he's good at playing music.
Yeah.
He kind of just dismisses everything that he said. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, Rufus, he's the man. But yeah, so what did you think of Beatrix's husband?
I think like his the most apt word is probably frivolous.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's this person who just doesn't matter. He's like, I like her because she's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I own a record store and we listen to old records.
Yeah. His superficial.
Yeah.
He is the thing that everyone is pretending to be.
Yeah.
That all
Yeah,
these
he's
deeper lives, inner lives, are pretending to be, and they just can't do it because they're too dark and
yeah.
deep.
Yeah, like after listening to him talk for about 7 seconds, like you already can tell what his internal monologue is.
Uh-huh.
Like and like he's not a he's a good guy. Probably like in a way that's legitimate, not like the other people are just pretending.
Yeah. Well,
The way that Beatrix is pretending.
he he believed, like he just took at face value all of her ridiculous lies too, about
Yeah, yeah.
like someone that had no family to speak of, and he's just like, well, I guess her dad just can't get a hold of. He's mining for silver in Australia. That's
Mm,
perfectly legitimate to me.
yeah. And also that she was like multiple months pregnant before meeting him.
Yeah, he just
He was like,
doesn't.
this is my baby.
Yeah, he just doesn't question anything. So, I mean, and that is exactly the only person that she honestly could get hitched up with is someone
Yeah,
that was just so superficial that they didn't ask any important questions.
yeah. Like even the most cursory of inspection would. It's like, oh, what are your job skills? Like, what do you know, you're like 30. Like, what have you done up until this point?
And then I thought Beatrix's friends were interesting only because in the grand meta mythology of Quentin Tarantino movies, they reminded me a lot of the girls in Death Proof.
Yeah. They were like very much also playing the part of being like gossipy, like, yeah, girl, oh, haha. It's, like
Yeah,
we're all supporting each other. Like when the pastor says silly things, like they'll sort of needle him a little bit about it.
yeah, because they kind of are taking it. They're taking the wedding not too seriously. Bill meets up with her and gives her a speech. Anything that you had to say about that?
Nothing other than the fact that like he says I'm the man when she asks him how he found her. When like a minute earlier, the phrase "he's the man" was used twice to describe Rufus.
To describe Rufus. Yeah, I noticed that too. I wonder if that was a mistake.
I wonder if that was yeah, I wonder if that was intentional or if that was just a red herring.
I was kind of surprised that Beatrix wasn't surprised that he did what he did. I think that she was caught off guard. I guess she says it later too, is like, I didn't think that you'd do that to me. Like, cause she like kisses him and stuff and is very thankful for his and letting her go.
Mhm.
Like it felt like she really did believe that for a second.
Although it was kind of like one final insult to say that he's her dad,
That was funny, yeah.
like as if he wasn't already planning. Uh, she just had to twist the knife one last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still at this point also they're saying her name and bleeping it out.
Hmm.
Like it's not till L that they actually reveal the name. I still don't know why why they did that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you said last episode,
About like her having no name and Bill having no face.
yeah,
But they're
like,
showing Bill's face now, so like that kind of disproves that.
yeah, well, I do think that, oh man, I have a good one for that. I have a good one for the name one though. You're,
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna have a reaction to this.
Mm, it's gonna be one of those, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so what I want to preface this with is, have you heard the story of Rumpelstiltskin?
Yes.
Can you tell me about the story?
Um he's like a gnome or a fairy or some kind of creature that will give you a pot of gold or a wish or something if you can guess his name.
Hmm.
But the trick is that his name is this completely outlandish thing that you would never guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I think that Beatrix is, well, okay, so there's two characters in the Rumpelstiltskin story. There's Rumpelstiltskin, who spins gold for basically the basically the girl is trapped and is forced to spin gold by this king. Um, and Rumpelstiltskin tells her that he can spin gold for her if she gives her things. And the things that she gives the Rumpelstiltskin is like a necklace and a ring. And then finally, she promises to give Rumpelstiltskin, or else the king will kill her if she doesn't spin the gold.
Hmm.
She promises to give Rumpelstiltskin her firstborn child because she has nothing left. And there's a couple things that correspond to the Kill Bill story, which is first of all, I think maybe she has to guess Rumpelstiltskin's name three times, and uh her Beatrix's name is bleeped out twice. And then finally said the third time, her hair, which is made, commented on,
Yeah.
flaxen. And
Although, I get going.
there is a firstborn child
That is stolen away by Bill.
that's stolen away by Bill. Yeah. So I thought, who in this story is Rumpelstiltskin and who in this story is the to be bride of the king?
Um, okay, so I'll humor this.
Okay.
Uh, Clearly Rumpelstiltskin is Beatrix.
Uh-huh.
Because she has a wild name that's not Bill.
Yeah.
T Two, she she's the one who steals the child and runs away with it.
Uh-huh.
Because it is Bill's child to a similar degree that it's her child. So
Yeah.
she steals it. So she has a crazy name. She steals a child, and her name is unspoken
And
for
unguessable.
and unguessable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's clues to it throughout the entire movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because Bill calls her kiddo a whole bunch of times.
Yeah. Rumpelstiltskin is clearly the bad guy in the story. And Beatrix, yeah, Beatrix, that's what I think is Beatrix is Rumpelstiltskin. But in a sort of weird way, because Beatrix kind of in a way learns her own name. I don't
Well,
know.
like, well, no, like that. You're not wrong because the time we learn her name is when Elle kind of reminds the audience that she's a killer.
True.
Like,
That
like,
she
like,
is the bad. She is bad.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Elle is the most straightforwardly villainous character, so like of the entire film.
Hmm.
Bill is obviously a bad dude, but like he does have this kind of like folksy charm to him.
Hmm.
Elle is just mean and awful
Oh
and
yeah.
bad
And
every scene to
dishonorable.
her core. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely need to talk about her because there's a lot to say.
yeah.
There's a lot of symbolism surrounding her. I just want to finish this Rumpelstiltskin analogy off.
Okay.
Is what do you think is the point of the Rumpelstiltskin story? Like I actually had thought about that story before because I like it because it's so strange. I mean, if you really think about it, the transformation that happens is like what's really happening in the Rumpelstiltskin story on the face of it is a father is giving away his daughter to the king. The king is just a symbol of like there's always a king in fairy tales, and that's just a
Yeah.
symbol of the realized man, like a lot of stories about boys, the boys at the end become the king. But Rumpelstiltskin is a story about a father giving away his daughter to the king and the daughter not being ready for marriage and has to find in herself sort of the wherewithal in the formulation of how to become ready for something like that.
So like the power that is in knowing something's name is kind of a common theme in both stories.
Hmm.
I don't I'm also like not familiar enough with the Rumpelstiltskin story to like really comment
Yeah.
heavily on.
Well, the other thing is Rumpelstiltskin could be a part of her that she, just in the way that Bill is kind of a part of her that she's vanquishing, to become realized and to become ready for, I guess, parenthood.
Well, no,
She
I think okay, so I think that the Rumpelstiltskin thing is I'm not buying it.
okay.
I do feel like her name is like her real name is her assassin identity, her like who she is like when she's an assassin. Because like when
No, it's Black Mamba.
yeah, it's Black Mamba, but it's also no, well no, because they never refer to her as Black Mamba except for like Vernita does like once in the very beginning. When she's in the church and when she's with her husband, like it everyone refers to her as like Mrs. I don't know, like
Arlene.
Charles. yeah. Arlene, then his last name, or sometimes just Mrs. and then his first name and his last name. So like I feel like that's like the new name is her trying to be a worker bee, and Beatrix Kiddo is like associated with her assassin identity, which is why like
I
the
disagree.
which is why the reveal of her name is when Elle is sort of describing like what an incredible warrior she is.
I kind of disagree. And the reason I did is because do you remember what happened right after she revealed her full name?
Not precisely, no.
There was like it just cut right to in like Family Guy mode almost like uh in a classroom where a teacher's reading out everybody's names and there's a bunch of kids and she
Oh
raises her
yeah,
hand as an adult when they reveal her name.
yeah. I remember
It's
that.
kind of played for laughs, but I don't really I like what's the joke there? You know, it's just so goofy.
I think that's like trying to try to like treat her name as like a mythological thing, like oh it's like almost as a joke, like oh like it's almost like a Shaggy Dog story where it's like oh we don't know her name, we don't know her name, we're gonna say her name then bleep it out
Hmm.
and then
And
say
then
oh that's her name.
yeah,
Just
and it's
that's just what it
underwhelming.
is.
It's just a
Just
name.
roll call.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, here's my sort of psychological read of it is when they said her real name, when she said her real name, it sort of kind of brought her back to adolescence and sort of like the fact that she's an adult in this childhood classroom sort of reinforced this idea that she's sort of emotionally delayed.
I exact opposite for me.
Oh, okay.
Where like when she said like it's almost like Beatrix Kiddo is back. Like this crazy assassin
Yeah.
is the exact person that we all remember who she is, and she's gonna come kill us.
Yeah, and
And and that's kind of like how I felt like what her name was is like that's why it was revealed at that point where it's like this is she everyone understands now that she is the dangerous assassin self that she's that she was when she was active.
mm, yeah, and right after, I think that Elle saying the name, that was like she thinking that saying the name would buckle the buckle Beatrix and make her feel powerless. But it actually what it did was it sort of like enraged her almost or gave her all this power instead and she quickly dispatched her,
Yeah.
like I feel like her saying that her that name was intended by Elle to be a disarming mechanism in the fight. Do you agree?
Um, no, I think it was more like this is real. This is the showdown, and now it's this is how I know it's going to be a fight. Like
Yeah.
I would say it's almost more arming than disarming. But she also like Elle wanted a fight. Elle wanted a like Beatrix to be a worthy opponent. It's why she was so mad when Bud
Yeah.
just shot her in the chest and buried her alive.
Well, I don't think that because remember she was the one that almost killed her in the hospital at the first movie dishonorably.
Oh, oh yeah, you're right.
So I think that it was that she was
She
more
just wanted
disappointed that Bud was the one that did it because
yeah,
he's such a uh
such a goofy goober.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it was more
which
about her disdain of Bud.
which brings us to Bud.
Let's bridge us to
Uh,
Bud. Your favorite character, tell us why.
yeah, I love how Bud clearly has this more internal conflict than any other character.
Yeah.
Like, and I love the idea of I almost made this my quote, which is when Bill says, "You pawned a Hattori Hanzo sword.
They're
It's
priceless.
priceless." So not in El Paso, it ain't. And I
In
think
El
it's like it's
Paso, I could get
yeah,
$250.
yeah, which I feel like is perfect for an encapsulation of what's going on with Bud,
Hmm.
where he has this like priceless skill set of like where he's as much of a crazy assassin as the rest of these people, but he's like he's priceless. But here in El Paso, he's just like a big guy that can throw people out of a bar.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
That's
almost like 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 Bud's existence is pawning the Hattori Hanzo sword.
and he can't even do that either. He
Yeah, he's
can't even.
bad at
Yeah,
it.
he's bad at throwing people out of a bar.
Yeah.
There's nobody in here. He went out to the in this, I think the desert is a very apt location for him because he kind of like went as far away from all of society as he possibly could to kind of get away from his past, and who he is. But that just doesn't work. But it is kind of funny thinking about like as much as everybody is giving him shit, and literally, in this case, because of the toilet you know, that he has to
Yeah.
clean up, as much like the whole time that fucking owner of the strip club is like beating him down, it's like Bud could the whole time Bud could easily like just snap his neck, but he chooses not to. He just grits his teeth.
Yeah, like
He's got all this power, and he's just um, that he could use, and he's given every reason to use it, but he doesn't.
yeah, so he almost seemed like he's chosen this terrible life on purpose as like penance for
Mm,
the terrible stuff that he's done.
yeah, yeah. I kind of wondered about that because I kind of felt that it was strange that the whole reason that he involved himself with L, and which brought his demise, was that he was asking for money. And like I feel like he should have had money,
Yeah, from his many
from the
years of being a crazy assassin.
yeah, or had some means of getting money. So I mean it made sense that he would be doing penance by living in this trailer at the edge of society. But it was weird that he ended up going for the money.
Yeah, there's a lot of like conflicting scenes with Bud.
Hmm.
Like whenever he is talking to someone else about Kiddo, he's almost like in awe of her
Hmm.
and like deeply sort of apologetic. Where like there's the whole scene where he is saying, "Oh, after what we did to her, she's gonna want to kill all of us, and we all deserve to die for being terrible people."
Yes, I thought
And
that too. Yeah.
she deserves her revenge. And then he actually encounters her in person. And he's just like so disrespectful
Uh-huh.
and mean to her.
Yeah, and he doesn't let her take revenge on him.
Yeah, yeah.
If he feels like if he deserves to die, then why does he not die? Why does he not allow her to kill him?
And also like just the way he like insults her and stuff.
Hmm.
Like he talks about her body and several times. One right after he shoots her, and then like another time like right before he buries her when he's like talking about her to that weird gross guy.
Hmm.
So it's very weird like how he does this complete 180 and just goes from having this deep respect for her to being just
Yeah.
unnecessarily gross.
Well, the other thing is too, there's a symbol of his sword that his brother gave him
Hmm.
that he's kept hidden, and that's his like honorable side.
And I think there is like a speaking of his brother, like there is that thing of like him very intentionally playing a part,
Hmm.
similar to Bill, where he's the weird, gross Texas guy who's works at the titty bar and pawned his Hattori Hanzo sword, and talks about Beatrice's tits,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's very much playing this character of like being the person that needs to die.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he if she had showed up to his trailer and he was like, I'm so sorry, you deserve your revenge. I'm just gonna allow this to happen. Like it wouldn't have felt as good to
To kill
you
him.
know to kill him. Yeah. Meanwhile, like all of these people trained with Pai Mei,
Mm-hmm.
or so he had to have known that the 3 inch punch thing is a thing that she could do.
Oh, so you're saying he, well, and who never finished their training with Pai Mei?
L.
Who possibly could not have known that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like my thought is that like very similar to his brother, Bud is trying to fulfill his role in this story.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Bud training with Pai Mei. That would have been awesome to
That
see.
would have been great.
Um,
Sake.
yeah. Well, and I feel like also Beatrix, I was also kind of disappointed how the degree of which Beatrix underestimated Bud. She's like,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
just
in the room
facing the door.
facing the
He's in
door.
his chair facing the door, and she goes in through that door.
Didn't wait for him to go to sleep or anything.
I think he played his part a little too well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's
Made himself too non-threatening.
yeah. Although that is her character though, which is like everywhere she goes, she busts in through the front door. She's not
Yeah,
sneaky. So, but it was a little for being dressed like a ninja. Well, she was dressed like a ninja at the
yeah.
beginning, and then she was took her hood off and then became very tactless in her method.
So yeah, I think like, and also like one of the reasons why he basically defeated Beatrix,
He got
and
close. He
it's
got the closest of anybody.
yeah, and if he wanted to, he could have just easily finished her off. And I think it's because he doesn't fight like an assassin.
Yeah.
Like he didn't pull out his Hattori Hanzo sword and challenge her to a duel in a snowy field. Like he just sat in a chair facing where he knew she would come and just shot her.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like the everyone in the entire town thinks he's a complete loser, but he is
yeah.
actually not.
And I don't know if you picked this up, but the necklace that he's wearing is a razor blade on a gold chain.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's like in any way
It's emblematic.
this combination of being like kind of useless and gilded and
Hmm.
just being dangerous.
It's a symbol of danger, but not actual danger because it's not it's not useful.
Yeah.
And it's not a samurai sword. It's not like
Mm.
a glamorous gold chain. It's a gold chain of a razor blade. Yeah, that's a good point.
So there definitely is this like descent into hell
Hmm.
motif that's of him, literally being of her literally being buried alive
Hmm.
and then fighting her way out of the underworld.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
But well, being immobilized, like in the first movie. So in this movie, what allowed her to fight her way back to life was, I guess, remembering her training with Pai Mei.
yeah, where like we see like very like back to back. We see her training with Pai Mei, her sort of her taking the lessons,
Hmm.
saving her life, and Elle failing to take the lesson, killing
Exactly.
her.
Yeah. Killing yeah.
Yeah, because like if she had one eye left, if she had both eyes, then and Beatrix did like the little eye pluck maneuver,
Hmm.
then that wouldn't have been anywhere near as crippling. But
No.
her failure to take Pai Mei's lessons and her failure to sort of respect him is what ultimately got her killed.
Hmm. Well, okay, so this is an interesting theme throughout the movie too, is this is another thing which I think Bit Bud is very cognizant of, and it doesn't seem like it, but he gives Beatrix two choices. One of them is a symbol of blindness, and the other is a symbol of
Illumination.
illumination. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The flashlight or the mace. And she chooses illumination, and L
Chooses blindness. Okay.
chooses
Yeah, I see what you're
blindness.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why she ultimately wins, you know, is because
Hmm.
she has this sort of like illuminated knowledge. And L is just kind of blind, purposeless power. And
And okay, go on.
yeah, no, no, go on.
So this was a another like symbol of Bud's wisdom
Exactly.
was like in the when after Bud dies, when Beatrix and Elle are fighting,
hmm
Elle unsheathes the magic sword
Yes.
to use it to kill Beatrix. But Bud knew this was not an environment for a samurai assassin. This is Bud's trailer.
Uh-huh.
So because you're in an environment where a samurai assassin does not belong, she can't unsheath like when she tries to unsheath the sword, it hits the walls of the trailer.
Yeah, that was good. That
Yeah.
was a good moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's trying to like be like this powerful person who's like the hammer for every nail. And
Yeah.
she's just in not realizing that this is not the right environment for that. And that is
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
a
she's
lesson that
not
she learns too
illuminated.
late.
She
Yeah.
is she is all violence and tyranny. And Bud and Kiddo understand that wisdom is more important than that. No matter how
Yeah.
powerful you are, having a little bit of wisdom is more powerful than even, superpower um, status. But and I think there is sort of like what is it called? A archetype of the hermit, which Bud kind of represents too. Is sort of like a
Oh,
hermit archetype.
the penitent aesthetic, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
Walk
sort
the
of,
earth.
yeah, he fills that role.
We were probably clear up until Beatrix leaves Bud's trailer after killing Elle.
Okay.
We did mostly skip past the Pai Mei training sequence,
Yeah.
which I don't really have a lot to say about that. If you have
I I
some,
kind of I kind of have a little bit to say. So, first of all, remember when Bill was telling the story about Pai Mei? Maybe I missed something, but he said in the year 102 or 1002, Pai Mei was walking down the street and killed some guy for being offensive to him in a
yeah,
minor way. Is Pai Mei immortal?
I think yeah, like that is like that is one of the few notes that I have on Pai Mei, which is quote year 1003. How old is Pai Mei?
Yeah. Is that the same Pai Mei?
Well, the
Strange.
the idea was that he was describing Pai Mei's temperament
Yeah.
and presumably the Pai Mei that she was about to go meet. So I think the idea is that this is the same Pai Mei.
So it's safe to say that Pai Mei is immortal.
Pai Mei is immortal,
Okay.
which makes like the fact that
Hmm.
that L killed him like even more
Tragic.
tragic. Yeah, that he's this kind of like this living legend that's thousands of
Yeah.
years old.
And she
Uh,
just has no respect for it at all, and just
yeah,
and just kind of destroys this this remnant of the past that's kind of precious in his
yeah,
own
because
way.
like because everyone who encounters Pai Mei, hates Pai Mei.
Yeah, but they
But
also yeah.
yeah, they respect the knowledge that he has, and despite also hating Pai Mei, Bill sends every one of his students
Yeah.
to learn under him.
Yeah, and he even hates Pai Mei. And Pai Mei like beat him up just for going to see him.
Yeah, yeah, like a former student who graduated from his program, for lack of a better word.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, Pai Mei just beats the shit out of him.
What does Pai Mei really teach? What is his what does she truly learn from him?
Well, I think the lesson that Pai Mei teaches is humility,
Yeah.
because that was the like that's the first lesson. Like she introduces herself, and the first thing he does is humble her,
Hmm.
and that's why L failed the lesson. L was fully incapable of being humble.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and there's sort of an ego death. Uh, yeah, she has to kind of destroy her ego and understand that she's sort of helpless and powerless. And ironically, that's that's where power does come from, is being humble. That is sort of a power in itself because you're not trapped by your ego anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bud was extremely humble, like he was humble to a fault, and that's why he was a good person.
Well, not that
Um,
not that good of a person.
yeah, but a truly good person.
Yeah.
He's a good person in that he did keep the sword that Bill gave him. Like he's got this sentimental core in him.
And he, and
That's
he was and he was humble about it too. Like
yeah.
it's like he wasn't like, this is my Hattori Hanzo sword.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, pawned it. It's gone.
Yeah, to the point where he lied about it. The in the story, the symbol of her graduating the class and being fully realized as a humble person is the learning of the five finger death technique.
The the ability to break someone's heart.
Oh,
Uh,
yes. Yeah. Nice. Exactly. And I like how it isn't like a true technique too. It's a cartoon technique.
yeah, yeah, where she like pokes his chest a bunch of times, and
Yeah. Um, and so it kind of just goes with this whole idea of we're in this metaphorical realm right now, and she's not really learning how to how to kill people. It's a metaphor for obtaining gnosis.
yeah, yeah, being like truly aware.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
being able to use this power. It's a metaphor for that. This supernatural power. Oh, one more thing about Elle. That she is essentially the bride. She is essentially the same thing as Kiddo. It's they said later that Bill has a thing for blondes. Elle is kind of like the alter ego, the evil alter ego of the bride.
Well, like every one of the other assassins like takes on like an aspect of the bride. Like she wants to, like when she leaves the assassin's life, she goes to El Paso, and Bud was living in El Paso. She wants to start a family, and Vernica started a family.
No, no,
That's
that's
how.
really what
Oh no, yeah, I
something
don't know if
happening.
there's no. I don't know if I can carry this through with Oren. I don't know if, like what
No,
Oren
well,
did.
uh, Oren represented that blind ambition or that kind of industriousness.
Well, and also like her I think Oren probably like probably her fighting ability more than anything else.
Yeah,
Beatrix's ability with her sword is kind of like what Oren kind of adopted.
yeah, and well,
Uh,
and also Oren's kind of ability to suppress. That's what we said in the last episode. Like Beatrix's ability to suppress her emotions, like that was like a defense mechanism that she used that Oren
oh yeah,
represents.
Yeah, and Oren's super repressed all the time. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and L represents her powerful evil side.
all right, so I
There's
think
also just one last thing. There's
okay,
also kind of a theme of immobilization in the movie, in both movies,
being trapped.
being trapped. Bud immobilizes her with a shot. Bud is immobilized by the snake,
Being trapped in a coffin.
being trapped in a coffin, which to me that represents like just being stuck in a stasis in life, and then the triumph of being able to fight your way out of this stasis. Okay, now we go to Esteban.
Esteban, which I think Esteban that scene is clearly there to teach us something about Bill. Esteban is actually kind of a lot like Bill, where he's very genial, he's polite, he's gentlemanly. And then like about halfway through the conversation, he kind of reveals that he's also a monster.
Yeah,
Where like he says, "I would have just cut your face."
I would have just cut a face, and then a girl comes up with her face cut.
And yeah, and it's not like oh he's gonna leave a little scar on her cheek. Like he does this like very like severe like maim like mutilation of her upper and lower lip
Hmm.
to the point where like she naturally like drools a little bit because the cut is so large and splits her mouth like almost open.
Hmm.
Like that's his idea of like oh this is the appropriate way to deal with someone who wrongs you
Yeah, exactly.
is just
Because he's
mutilate
got
them.
it so down to a science too, because he has to do it so often being a pimp.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the line in Jackie Brown that we liked of we couldn't just hit her in the face. You gotta kill her. But the mark that Esteban gives is a mark of, like you were saying in the last episode, it's a mark of ownership.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right on the money with that, where like Esteban is like displaying his ownership over these girls by
Hmm.
putting this very unique mark on them.
Yeah.
And then after that, the flashback ends and it goes back to her driving the car towards Bill's place.
Hmm.
And then she reaches Bill's uh, home, and the biggest reveal of the movie comes through, which is that the child is still alive.
Hmm.
And like you were talking about earlier, they play out this little scene of playing pretend. Like, mommy, I shot you. Now you die. Lay down.
Hmm.
And
And I don't know about you, but like I felt a true waves of emotion. There, like Uma Thurman played that so well. Like that whole final chapter, she was just amazing. And like
yeah,
I felt after that, like I felt this huge wave of emotion that I wasn't expecting, you
because
know.
she says basically nothing for like the first for like maybe 15 or 20 seconds.
Yeah, she just
It,
sits there in disbelief
yeah,
almost. Yeah, and you've been on this entire journey with her, and you're feeling now the same thing that she's feeling, the bride
yeah.
is feeling. And I was just so hit by that.
So
Um,
I had a moment just like that, but later on in the movie,
mhm.
uh, like I felt that in the very last scene of the movie,
Yeah, me too.
where it's like 4 hours of Beatrix going through hell
Hmm.
to get this revenge, and she finally gets her child back, and she's like curled up into the fetal position on like in the bathroom, crying, but then like it slowly turns into laughter,
Hmm.
like in joy that it's finally over
Uh,
and that she
but
has her child.
well, which R is she feeling? You know,
Clearly relief.
I don't
Uh,
think yeah, it's a mix.
because because at I do feel like there's this change where it is sad at the beginning where she's crying, and then it does slowly convert to joy.
Hmm.
I feel like elation is the emotion that kind of wins out.
Well, it's a complete catharsis when you mature and when you grow out of something. It's a total sadness that
Mhm.
you feel. You're grieving a loss of who you once were about
I
life that you can't go back to.
I didn't get that quite as strong. Like to me, it was a lot more like the last couple scenes of Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
where Sam and Frodo are just like holding each other and
Hmm.
just like it's just over now. Like it's
Yeah.
like this whole all these trials where you almost died so many times and so much hardship and dragged through hell.
Yeah.
And now it's finally it's over. It's finally over. Like there's that
Yeah.
kind of like relief.
Okay, so yeah, going off of what you said about the relief after completing a journey, and like any journey that you go on in life is to be meaningful, it has to have some tribulation.
Well, like
And
because yeah, well, because the first time she tried to get out of her like exit her life as an assassin, she just ran away from it.
exactly, there was
Like she
no
just ran away.
tribulation. Yeah.
And then the second time she like really faced down like her previous life
Hmm.
in a very literal way
Hmm.
and confronted her demons and grew in a much more real way than
Completely.
as Mrs. Plinkett or whatever.
Bill was right. And that's why I kind of think that Bill was the way Bill died, that one hit me pretty hard too. Is he kind of accepted death? He kind of accepted death by the time
Yeah.
that he
Yeah, he
died.
he he walked off into the sunset.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Into the moonlight.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even before that though, like, Esteban said, Bill, Bill would rather see you and die than not see you. He would rather die to see you than not see you. Like the entire audience knows that he's going to die. If he knows that he's the bad guy in the movie, he knows that he's going to
Yeah.
die,
He
and
he
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 wants
saw
to
the title screen that said Kill Bill.
and he wants to do it in the most meaningful way.
Of like releasing her from her burden almost.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas the way Elle died was so dishonorable and ugly, riding around in this trailer, not accepting her death. And he also died in a way that a mystical storyteller would be proud.
Oh, of the only person in the world who knows this kung fu technique,
Hmm.
who like just killed a whole bunch of people and didn't use this technique on any of them.
Hmm.
She decided to pull this maneuver out for Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very theatric death, like something that he would appreciate.
I don't know. It was very beautiful. It was very emotionally powerful. And I think this is the only this Kill Bill Volume 2. Well, actually, both Kill Bills, because there was the Oren origin story scene, which was pretty emotionally powerful. But this is in the whole mythology of Tarantino. I feel like these two movies actually try for sentimentality,
Yeah,
and they succeed.
yeah, I would say so. Like the movie does make you feel things.
Hmm. It does. Yeah. And you didn't think that it would be possible, but it is.
Yeah, in a movie called Kill Bill.
Uh-huh. That's the goofiest movie of his too. There's
Yeah.
so many goofy aspects to it.
Death Proof is probably his goofiest movie. Right. I think we are out of time.
All right. Do you want to end?
Yeah, I think ending is probably for the best.
Only under one condition,
What?
that you call me Esteban.
Very well, Esteban.